Everyone, it's Miss Sims here. Today we are starting a new tiny art project based on Ashley Polski's art. You're going to need to come up with a place that you want to do your drawing about, so you might want to watch this video and then go do this outside if you have a place you're looking at, or have a picture in front of you of a certain place. That's what I'll show, but I just wanted to give you a heads up before the lesson started. I'm super excited about this and I'm ready. Let's go ahead and get started. We have two goals today. The first one is to choose a location that is important to you. So don't just choose something random. You want to be able to explain why this has personal value, why it makes you feel happy, why you like this place, and it needs to be a place you can actually see. I'll talk more about how to choose a location in just a second. Your second goal is to add details to make your drawing look more realistic. You need to draw the details that you are actually seeing and keep adding more and more. When you choose a location, you're going to want to choose somewhere that you can actually see. So I'm in my classroom right now, so I can do a drawing of my classroom because I can look around and choose the details. If you don't have anything that you want to draw that you can see, like maybe your backyard or your room, you can also choose to do something that you have a picture of, but that picture needs to be in front of you. You don't want to just draw details from your imagination because it's harder to add correct details. Another thing to think about is to make your details small. Now, I wouldn't do my whole room on my piece of paper. I would do my details a small section. So, for example, lots of people do an L. They flip their L, and when you put them together, you get a box. You can look through the box, kind of like it's a viewfinder, and that will help you choose what area to draw. You only draw what you can see inside of your box. For materials, the most important part is that your paper is cut into a small rectangle. Please don't use just a random scratch piece. We want this to be an actual rectangle shape. You can also use the back of an index card. That's what I'm going to use. You'll also need a pencil and possibly a picture of something to draw if you're not sitting in front of what you want to draw. Go ahead and get your small piece of paper ready first. I'm not going to show you how to do it in this video, so cut out a small piece of paper, find an index card, but remember, we're not using just a random scratch piece. You want this to have really nice straight lines as the border. Go ahead and pause this video until you have your materials. I have a blank side of an index card and a pencil. I also have a brochure of a place that is one of my favorite places, and I'm going to use this small picture on the inside because it has just a small amount of details, just like you would in your viewfinder. If you're sitting in front of something, choose a certain section you want to draw, not just the whole thing. I'm going to start drawing what I see in front first. So that would be the fence and kind of these leaves that come down in front. We're going to start with what's closest and keep adding details as they go all the way back. You'll want to notice some other things too. For example, I notice my fence starts thicker as I see it closer, and as the picture gets further away, my fence gets further away, it gets smaller as it goes down. I'm adding all of these very specific details so that way it looks more real. Make sure as you're adding these foreground details, these details in the front, you're doing everything really lightly in pencil. When we color in next art class, we're going to want to make sure that our pencil's really light so we don't see all of our pencil marks behind when we color in the details. Keep going until everything in the foreground is finished. That means everything closest to you is finished before you move on to the middle ground or the background. Keep adding more and more details. You can erase, you can use your fingers to figure out what size. Make sure you're doing it as realistic as possible, doing exactly what you see, adding trees, details, anything you see that might help you. Now, one thing I did before I even started coloring was I stared at my picture. I thought for a very long time, what would be best for me to draw? What details are important? What can I not forget to add in here? And those are some awesome things to think about before you start working. This element of art that we're working on, space, is also really important. So make sure that if the mountains are in the background, you don't have the lines come all the way down to the bottom or whatever you're drawing, because then it will look like they're in front. So do it the way you see it, what's closest and further away. It helps us line it up correctly. Enjoy this, don't forget to add lots of details, and I will see you next time for art class.